Hello world, it is Tuesday, April 6, 2021, and looks like it's trying to be a nice day today. It's supposed to be warm, close to 80, I think. So quite warm today. But it is chilly this morning as it was only 44, 45 degrees this morning when I let the dogs out. So there'll be a big change this afternoon. The devotion for today is entitled What God Has Done, written by Fiwa Langeni. Fiwa bases the devotion upon Psalm 118, verse 17, the Common English Bible version. I won't die. No, I will live and declare what God has done. Fiwa writes, Oh, how the Easter season of 2021 has made Psalm 118, verse 17, unavoidably potent. We've officially endured over a year in a world halted by one deadly global pandemic that heightened the awareness and effects of other deadly pandemics many of us are privileged enough to flout. Ableism, racism, and sexism, xenophobia, transphobia, and homophobia, food, housing, and economic insecurities, healthcare, education, and technology inaccessibility, refugee, earth, and incarceration injustices. Too many deadly pandemics that have freely existed for centuries under the guises of law and order, patriotism, and even Christianity. So normalized they've been that to disrupt or speak out against them feels like oppression. Meanwhile, to cling to these familiar and death-dealing systems is to do violence to what God has done. Too many of our siblings across time and space died way too early due to 100% preventable injuries and injustices. These are unaccountable names, hashtags, thoughts, and prayers flung about for clout that it's hard to keep up with the people media highlights or the millions of others whose stories we never get to learn. We who read these stories are still living and can aim to embody this Easter message and mission. Death need not have the final word. While we still have breath in our bodies, let's strive to be living examples of what God has done. After we've gone, may the choices we make today persist beyond our death as a declaration of what God has done. And Fiwa's prayer. What you have done is beautiful and sacred in our living and declarations. May we boldly treat each one of your creations as such. Amen. Well, there's always so much in these devotions, I think. And I think Fiwa brings up some good points that in comparing a lot of the things that go on in the world with the pandemic, in the sense that they affect wide swaths of people, but not necessarily you or I, or maybe just you or I and not other people. It doesn't make them any less problematic or things that we should be working on. That is something that as people who follow Christ and who believe in God and building God's kingdom on earth as it is in heaven, these are things that we should be standing up either for or against, depending on what the item is, but working towards a better world. I think that's what Jesus really intended when he, in some of his challenges, when he challenged some of the religious authorities in his day who were so caught up in following the religious doctrines and institutions and not actually living their faith in a day-to-day in day-to-day actions and how they treated one another in God's creation. I think that's one of the things that this devotion really struck me with. So I think every day we need to become more aware of what's going on in the world and know that nothing we can do, or it may seem like there's so little we can actually do, but if we each do a little, it can have impact, maybe not in our lifetime, but in lifetimes to come. That we don't necessarily do this for us, but for our children and for their children, so that the world will slowly become a better place. we just don't give up. Do what we can with what we have where we are. Well, I hope you have a good day. I hope you can enjoy some of this sunshine, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.